Peace and blessings is real. First and foremost, I want to take this time and give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, through his only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, for allowing this word to come out. And I hope you sincere brothers and sisters is edified by this word. And the name of the lesson is called, How Can You Be Unmerciful When the Lord Was Kind to the Ungrateful and Grievous Ones? That's the $1,000,000 question in tonight's word. And again, the question is, how can you be unmerciful when the Lord was kind to the ungrateful and grievous ones? That's the $1,000,000 question in tonight's word. It's so much hate, so much vengefulness, so much grudgefulness going on in the world, so much unforgivableness that's going on in the world. It come a time that we have to really be real with ourselves, examine ourselves, and say to ourselves, where is our love? Where is our self-love? And then where is our love for others? Because what I want to speak about in this word tonight is the spirit of love. And it's something that this world really don't value. Like, love is so underappreciated. Love is so undervalued. But if you can subscribe to the prestigeness of love, you'll be a much better person, man. People are so unmerciful towards others. And it's like the world is just people that just got drama and chaos. What you see on the screen, this is what it looks like, man, when you're unmerciful to someone. Instead of forgiving someone, you rather try to kill them. You rather try to stab them. You rather try to beat them. You rather go to war with them. When all you can do is simply show some love. Okay? Because that's what we're going to speak about in this word. Those that are being unmerciful. Okay? What we're going to speak about is the spirit of love. And Yahweh's two greatest commandments was centered around love. So Yahweh understood, man, when you in the spirit of love, man, you're always going to be in a good space, a good place. So in this word, man, I want to focus on the spirit of love, because you got to remember something, man. That's all we have right now is the spirit of love. So the good and the bad, the good people and the bad people haven't been judged yet. So our job is to demonstrate on the spirit of love at all costs. Okay? So what if someone have wronged you? It's still time for them to be judged. Because they haven't been judged yet, you have to be merciful to them. We're all going to be judged for what we do. But until that time, until we're judged, demonstrate the spirit of love, man. Yeah. We're going to come to you in Luke chapter 6, verses 35 and 36, man. And in verse 35, it speaks about, the first thing it speaks about is to love your enemies. The second thing it tells you to do good. The third thing it tells you to lend money to others and not expect anything in return. And if you do that, you will receive a generous reward. And on top of that, you shall be considered the children of the highest, who is Yahweh, aka the boss of everything. It says, for he, which is Yahweh, is kind to the unthankful and evil. Dig that. First thing it says, love your enemies, man. Do it look like this person love his enemies on the screen? No. But brothers and sisters, man, love your enemies, man. That's some serious love right there. If you can love your enemies, man, you on your way to a good place. Love your enemies. Do good. Lend money to others and not expect anything in return. And as Israelites, we already know how this works, man. We won't lend money to one another. And if we do lend money to one another, we got to run them down, hunt them down to get the money back. And you shouldn't do that. Okay? If you're in a position where you can lend money to someone in need, don't expect nothing in return. The person is already in need. A lot of us, be down on our luck. We don't have a job or whatever, and a person could use a financial, assistance, And if you're in a position where you can financially help a family member, you don't let them not having a job sway you into not lending them money because they don't have a way of paying you back. You lend them the money. You do good. You lend them the money, knowing and not expecting anything in return. That's you showing love. That's you demonstrating love, knowing that you finna lend somebody some money that probably can't never pay you back. You give it to them anyway, man. Because the scripture says when you do that, when you love your enemies, when you do good, and when you lend money to others and not expect anything in return, the scripture says in Luke 6:35, you will receive a generous reward. Not only that, you shall be children of the highest, man. The Lord, it says, for he is kind, because the Lord is gracious and pleasant. Okay? To who? The unthankful, the ungrateful, and who? The evil ones, the grievous ones. Dig that. So how can you know what I'm saying? If the Lord can be kind and gracious and pleasant to the ungrateful, to the grievous ones, what's our problem with loving our enemies? What's our problem with doing good and lending money to others and not expecting anything in return? Why can't we do that? In verse 36, it says, you must be merciful. You must be compassionate, just as your Father is merciful, just as your Father is compassionate. You see that? So if the Lord can be passionate to those that's ungrateful and evil and wicked, we should be compassionate as well. So again, love your enemies. You see where I'm going with this? Do good. Lend money to others, not expecting nothing in return. But we won't do that because we don't operate in the spirit of love. We operate in the spirit of evil eye, spirit of meanness, spirit of being grudgeful. You got people that hate their enemies. They've been enemies with someone for many years, and they still got hate for them. That's why the scriptures tell you, rejoice not when your enemy die. I can't call the scripture out by hand, but it's in there, and it's a rock in the Apocrypha. And I'm paraphrasing. But love your enemies, man. Could you imagine that? You have a known enemy, man, and you come across that person and you show him love, that will probably trip him out. Because in a million years, he would never expect his rival, his enemy, his adversary to show him love. But that's where we have to be at, bros. That's where we have to be at, man. Because that's the great spirit of love measuring stick. Loving your enemies, man. If you can love your enemies, bro, I'm telling you, man, there's no reason why you can't be merciful either. See, people want us to be merciful to them, but they don't want to be merciful to others. And in Luke 6, verse 27, it says, love your enemies and do good to them that hate you. See that? Do good to them that hate you, that despise you, man. Do good to them. Because that's the ultimate demonstration of spirit of love, man. Yeah. In Proverbs 25 and 21, it speaks about if your enemy is hungry, you are to give him something to eat. Check that out. Now tell me that ain't love. You have an enemy and he's hungry, man. You are to give him something to eat. You don't sit there because that's your enemy. You leave him out to starve. You don't do that. You know, if he's homeless and you know what I'm saying, you know, and you can give him a place to stay or whatever the case might be, man. If the enemy is hungry, give him something to eat. Let's just leave it there. Let's pause and just process that for a minute. Proverbs 25:21. If your enemy is hungry, you are to give him something to eat. Now, most people, once again, couldn't do that because they lack the spirit of love. But if your enemy is hungry, you give him something to eat, man. He probably going to think you put something in his food because you offering him something to eat knowing that he's hungry. But what your enemy don't realize is you showing love, because we've been taught to hate our enemies. We've been taught to kill or be killed. We've been taught to be grudgeful and bitter and envious and drama ready, you know, for those that's considered an enemy. And it shouldn't be that way. It ought not be that way. And Exodus 23:4, we're going to close it out. It speaks about what? You find your enemy's ox or your enemy's ass, and it has went astray. You return it back to him. In other words, if you out and about, man, and you find your enemy's ox or your enemy's ass, and you obviously seen that your enemy ox or ass have went astray, you are to return it back to him. That's love. Could you imagine that, man? You showing up at your enemy's house with his missing ox. He wouldn't know what to think. But that's love, man. And that's what we lack today. The spirit of love. It's easy to hate, but it's hard to love, ain't it? It's easy to hate, man, but it's hard to love. But it should be the other way around. It should be easy to love and hard to hate, man. What's the name of the word, man? How can you be unmerciful when the Lord was kind to the ungrateful and grievous ones, man? And a lot of you brothers and sisters out there, man, y'all are very unmerciful, man. Very unmerciful. You know, the Lord has shown mercy to you, but then you won't return that mercy and show it to somebody else, man. I mean, it's just unbelievable, man, how we are out here and we just will not be compassionate for others, man. Unreal. I hope you sincere brothers and sisters, man, was edified by this word. And we give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh through his only begotten son, Yahushai, for allowing this word to come out. And hey, listen up, man, like I always say. Keep Yahweh through his only begotten son, Yahushai, first in everything that you do. And stay prayed up, man, at all times, man. Shalom.